All right, guys. So now we're gonna have a talk about something which is kind of interesting, and it's actually about gaming events. And I'm sure at some point you must have went to IGN or Comic Con or even BlizzCon. So what is it that actually makes us want to go for these events? You know, there's something that keeps us going there. You know, the atmosphere that these organizers actually create. But little do you know that there's actually so much organization happening in the background, which actually makes these events successful. So we've been very fortunate to actually met some very influential figures who are actually very passionate about organizing events, such as IGN and Comic Con, and even the Arabic Games Conference. So we sat down with these individuals and we got their thoughts about their passion in terms of organizing these events and how COVID-19 has actually affected this industry.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another panel discussion taking place right here at Bahrain Game Jam 2021. We are here for a panel discussion. Do we need events and why do we need them? What's all the deal with events all taking place right here? So we are here with prominent personalities, infamous for amazing work. And Mohammed Mharigi, you know him for IGN predominantly when it comes to the gaming industry, and of course a lot of crazy, unbelievable events in the public sector, private sector in Bahrain and around the GCC. And we have with us again is the exciting personality behind Bahrain Comic Con as well, and Brave, KHK Esports, and a lot of musical concerts and a lot of sport events, Spartan events, and crazy stuff with excitement and thrill, Salman Bukhari, Della Promotions. And of course, we have the co-founder of Arab Gaming Conference and a Lebanese game developer, Iyad Al Hout. Gentlemen, welcome to this panel discussion. How is everybody doing? Let's start with Mharigi. We want to hear your voice, man.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm doing well, alhamdulillah. I was sick for the last 2 days, but now...
You better?
Huh?
Is it the cold weather all of a sudden changed
No,
on us?
it's just the
Changed
cold weather.
I know.
More.
Nothing else. Cause should I, man? No, I shouldn't. Okay. Social distancing all of a sudden, you know. Because can't get socialer than this, you know. Okay, well, we're glad to hear that your health and you're healthy enough to be with us here today. Is a proud moment to see you with us here at the panel. Salman, what's going on, man?
Tell me, how are you? I'm always good.
I'm happy to see you guys, sound and safe. I'm happy, and I love your background. Where you at? Amwaj?
I guess so.
Yes.
They say so.
You say so. It's not even a green screen, it's real. Yes, look at that. But Mharigi, صراحة, I love your son's artwork. This guy definitely got skills. I can see a bright future. He has a great father.
Okay. Thanks. Inshallah.
As you can see, I'm just plain white. This is like a wall. All good. And going to our brother from Lebanon, Iyad, what's happening?
I don't know if you've heard what's going on in Lebanon, but
yeah.
I'm surprised. I don't want to dampen the mood too much, so I won't get into it too much.
I hear it, man. I hear it, man. I'm hearing. No,
but
man, totally. I mean,
so that's exciting.
Yeah.
I can open up my wardrobe if you want.
Okay. Good stuff, man. Well, praying for you guys, honestly. I mean, and then we all been saying that how strong the Lebanese people are right now and how they're holding it together. It's challenging times altogether. Challenging times.
Just question. الحين ريكورد يسوي حق كل اللابتوب ولا بس حق الزوم؟
حق الزوم.
اوكي انا اقدر احوز في اللابتوب اوكي يعني. ما ادري انا ما دخليه قال اسوي ريكورد تدوهك يعني.
If you have certain pictures put in a certain folder, a XXX, I look, is that the XXX folder? Also, Harigi, put that away, please.
والله ما ببطل مال الاسهم وضع السوق.
Bitcoin? I'm sure. I know you bought some Bitcoin. Yeah, it's 15,000 Bahraini dinars, by the way. But anyways, let's go back to you guys. So, 2020, what a freaking year! me being an MC for a lot of events that I've been hosting, your events and other events, and not being able to host the events in 2020 took a big part out of me. I can say personally, it affected me mentally, emotionally, financially, professionally. It took a big toll. Guys, I want to hear from you. I know it's a very, like, I would say a trivial question, but starting with you, Salman, 2020, how are you with that? Events.
Wallahi, 2020, it is a year where it really tested everyone because we were like very confident of how things are. And this brought us back to reality that any day, anytime, something can happen. So you should always have a contingency plan on what you're doing or how you're going to fix yourself. You cannot sit comfortable saying, oh, you know, I have this. Example, I will sit and say, I have Bahrain Comic Con, I have this, I have that, I have. COVID came and the whole world was not prepared and the whole world went into a pandemic and the whole world went into a total lockdown. People like me, people like Muhammad, who are in the events world and 100% depend on events world, were really struck by and kept us to the biggest test. Muhammad, please correct me if I'm saying anything wrong.
No, you're right.
Okay, it tested us to the maximum limits where you are not sure you are going to continue. Are you going to shut down? Are you going to fire somebody to balance it out?
Oh, yeah,
you know?
man. Those.
So all these emotions come into place, especially when you have your events already planned in advance.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Totally. Muhammad, I mean, you've been through a lot yourself as well. I mean, I heard some of the decisions you had to make as well, though they were not pretty.
We face the same يعني regarding the events يعني we have planned events and we have يعني it was actually I have 8 events confirmed, they pay already.
Yeah.
And cancel out. And we the same day of the once they I think there was الباص اللي فيه ناس ذكروا لا اللي كان في لا الطياره اللي جايه من الامارات شيء كذي
February
كان في I think end of March, beginning of March.
Okay, yeah, like, you know, the announcement happened at the end of February, and the beginning of March we got to have the lockdowns and crazy regulations.
Yes, we had an event. There was a very big event. We was working for it almost for 1 month. Then it was cancelled, and so it was a difficult year. يعني thanks God that we have يعني as a marketing side or whatever other services we're doing it. But even if it will not even get 50% of our revenue from the event sector. So
I hear you.
يعني we hope this year, inshallah, but I didn't see any indicators for this year. It will be we can do anything for events, but we hope. But the funny things that تمكين they told us we are not يعني قطاع متضرر فما عطونا support 6 months اللي طاف لأن احنا الايفنت مو متضرر.
I was fighting for the same thing.
يعني I don't know what they need to يعني شنو ينطرون عشان يعرفون ان احنا قطاع متضرر. ما اعرف احنا ممنوعين من مزاولة النشاط مالنا يعني شنو لازم اسوي عشان يعني
Wow, it's great to see here right now, and this is only in Bahrain. But if we go to all the, tell me.
Don't forget, you were here when they announced the funny part, Muhammad. Okay, in March when your event got cancelled, okay, we had Gypsy Kings coming to Bahrain, and the government. Muhammad, I'll give you.
Hold that thought. Hold, Salman. I'm gonna come back to that. You know, because you know all that. Just hold that because it was a crazy time. But you know, guys, we're talking about what's happening even in Bahrain. Same thing that took place with the UAE and Saudi. But let's go all the way to Lebanon with Iyad over there. As you know, it's a different paradigm. What's happening in Lebanon? It's a different environment. It's a different even kind of set of challenges over there. And it's great to see that with all of that, the amount of creativity, the amount of unbelievable talents and skills in Lebanon. It is just unprecedented, and we're so proud of what's happening. So, Iya, tell us a little bit about, because we don't know much about what's happening with the events in Lebanon. So, can you guess a little bit? Because when I heard about the Arab Gaming Conference going virtual, I'm like, good stuff, really good stuff. So, tell us a little bit about the event scene in Lebanon before COVID-19.
Honestly, like 2020 was the year. Like in Lebanon, we stopped saying like kifak. We just said like Aish. Okay.
Wow.
We just skipped the whole thing. We're like, Mish it's working out. I remember like the start of the year started out really rough because there was a lot of protests and riots, and even in January when we were planning to do Global Game Jam, I still remember to this day, like no space would accept having a game jam for a while. So I had to keep like emailing the Global Game Jam committee and tell them, please delay the deadline to have a site because I'm going to try to get it to happen, but no one would accept. Everyone was too scared of the situation. And this was before COVID even. Like everyone was just terrified of how the situation was going to go.
Wow.
And even then, we were honestly, as one of the main organizers and Lebanese game developers, we were still excited about 2020. We had so many things planned. We were hoping like to really push a bunch of developers into like publishing their first games, local developers from board games to digital games and stuff like that. We were planning all these showcases. We were planning all these meetups. And then March came along and all of that disappeared. And funnily enough, Arabic Games was never in the pipeline for us. Like for any one of the founders, you can ask myself or any of the other founders, we were like, because logistically it didn't make sense to us to like have a big, massive Arabic Games conference. Like the first hurdle was just like, where do we do it? Do we do it in Lebanon? Do we do it in Bahrain? Do we do it in UAE, KSA? We had no idea. And then in a weird way, that was one of the few positives of COVID, is just all of a sudden we were like, wait, why not just do it virtually?
Right.
That solves like almost 90% of our problems from the get-go. And I don't think, honestly, if the whole pandemic would have happened, we probably would have never found that. And we're very happy we did it. And we know from reactions from some people, including like Yusuf, for example, a lot of people really enjoyed it. And I don't mean just in terms of like entertainment value or like educational value, but it's just, I mean, since we're kind of, not to jump the gun too much, but since we're going to talk about how important events are, it was such a great event to kind of connect so many of these local game making communities in the region, to kind of make people feel like, hey, we're struggling as well. We're also trying to push this industry in this region as well. We also have talented people that we want more people to recognize. And just I mean, it kind of brought a lot of people together. And like I don't think I would have been invited to this wonderful panel if we hadn't had done Arabic Games, for example. And that's already, I think, at the very least, a small victory that more communities are kind of connecting with each other thanks to events like that.
Oh man, I want to. Well, thank you for doing that. To be honest with you, thank you for taking the initiative to put together that amazing gaming conference virtual event. That the amount of talent that came on that panel and on that event is just crazy. It's like phenomenal. And going back to what's really happening here, even hearing your challenges and going back to what's going on in the GCC, but let's say to be more exact, even or let alone what's happening even in Bahrain. So going to Mharraqi and Salman again. Now, guys, as we started off the whole event scene in Bahrain, it started off in 2010, and then it came along as IGN took place as well, and from 2015, taken all the way up with the not only gaming, but was gaming, pop culture, entertainment all together. But then it shifted a bit, back in 2018, 19, as we saw that the culture, the reception kind of changed. Now, the pop culture event as well that took it to a different kind of path with Bahrain Comic Con, and now we're seeing that with COVID-19 2020 things have changed, and we're entering the esports scene. and you both got involved. As Salman right now is the CEO of KHK Esports, taking over as well with a lot of esport events. And Amharage as well got involved, starting off with Bahrain Gaming Experience, like in collaboration with Sony PlayStation. We had one of the biggest FIFA tournaments as well, and crazy prizes with both events. And Mawruth as well with PUBG, Salman Bahari, as you remember, and Ramadan. The turnout was unbelievable. So now, even before COVID-19, and now we're heading into this new path. What do you see? What is your take into this? Starting with you, Amharage.
It's about a gaming event or in general events?
Let's say, let's focus on the gaming events.
Okay. The gaming event we did in Ramadan, just a tournament. It was an online tournament.
Yeah.
Just want to test the market.
True.
I think it was good. We did 4 tournaments in Ramadan. it was good. It's not compared of a big tournament that we usually were doing it, but it was a bit good that we got almost in total 4,000 attendance or ما أعرف بسميهم users they play that
online participants,
online participants, but in the end it's not enough for especially for our sector. It will not cover our cost, will not cover our I think the online it will not be enough. We need more events that we can get or generate revenue through it.
Sure.
Through even the tickets or whatever else that we can generate revenue from the event itself. But if we will just compare it with the normal online tournament, it's not enough at all. But in the end we don't want نبي نحرك الماء الراكد على قولتهم. Just we want ما نبي الناس تموت
Okay. No, okay, no, I understand. It's like because
نبي شوي بس بعد it's not enough. Even الناس ملت الناس تبي تطلع، تبي تحضر ايفنت، تبي تروح مكان، ما تبي بس تقعد كذي فالناس بروحها تبي تطلع بس it's a bit difficult to do something. We tried to do something in the malls. Even we tried with the الحجر مال اللي حجروهم في الكورونا.
Okay.
We tried to do a tournament for them, but ما وافقوا وقالوا ما يصير كلهم ياخذون نفس الجويستيك وما شنو.
You want to do a quarantine esport event, virtual event.
قلت لهم خلينا نسوي لهم بطولة قاعدين شي محبسين ساكن، خلينا نسوي لهم تورنمنت شي خفيف لهم.
اوكي.
فعقب قالوا لي لا ما يصير لان كلهم ياخذين جويستيك كلهم فما يصير. فاحنا حاولنا في السكتر انه we do something, but it's a bit difficult. We need the physical
You want the live stage events, definitely. Salman, what do you have to say about this?
In which part, Farah?
I know, right? I know, there's so much going on. Exactly, there's so much going on. Okay, here's the thing.
I'll comment on one thing on Muharragi. Muharragi is right. Doing esports online is fine, but it cannot cover our costs. Muharragi is a businessman. I'm a businessman. He has overheads. I have overheads. It's not like our landlords are saying, "Here, Habibi, have a free rent."
Exactly.
We will support you. We are not getting that. We're getting, where is our paycheck? What is this? Where is that? So I understand Muharragi's trying to find ways. And like I said, Bara, I am trying my best to find ways left and right and trying to, push Bahrain, because from Bahrain Comic Con, we went into the world of gaming and we wanted to push for esports and these things. And then we spoke into His Highness's office, where Mohammed Shahid, the private secretary and the president of Brave, listened to us, heard us, and created the KHK Esports. And having faith on me, of course, and under the vision of His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, to actually push for it. But again, I do agree with Muhammad. Those are temporary things which, see, as an esports, it is good, But as a businessman, as Salman or Muhammad, no, we can't. That's not what we live on. We have a lot of overheads. We have a lot of bills to pay, a lot of salaries. Muhammad has his employees to pay. I have my employees to pay.
All right.
Okay, and when we went for Tamkeen, like Muhammad said earlier, they said that نحن مو متضررين. I don't understand it. شلون نحن مو متضررين.
All right. Okay.
Muhammad, I feel you. Don't worry. We are on the same page.
You know, I think I got carried away a bit with this as well. Like when I just threw out everything, because there's so much in me built up, and I'm like, what is going on? It is a big hit. And I'm telling you, Iyad, right now, I know all the way, you know, hearing what's happening here, but that's because we were doing these events for the last at least 10 years. All right. And it's like we're just building up the momentum. And all of a sudden, not only we got a break, we got like a hit. We're like hitting a wall. Like we're going at the speed of 120 kilometers and poof to a wall, getting us all bruised up, broken bones. And it's like, okay.
Talking about broken bones, don't forget what happened to me in March with Gypsy Kings, please.
Look, let's put this for the hold that story. I'm holding.
This is not 120. That's 180 at the wall.
Dude, hold that thought, because I'm gonna put that at the very end and just like, dude, let's talk about Gypsy Kings. Okay, now let's go back a little bit.
No, Muhammad, Galwi, you want to laugh about it? I had my approval. Government told me okay.
When it was.
In March, man. In March.
March 13th.
In March, yeah. But again, hold that thought.
They gave me the approvals on March 7. Huh? They told me, go ahead, bring them. We need the country to live.
Dude.
We will leave the surprise for the ending.
Dude. Yeah. No, I'm telling you, like, guys, that's what Salman does. He wants to do the pre-event to the main event of Bahrain Comic-Con. But now going back to the whole thing with the pop culture and gaming events. No, so it's like pre-COVID-19. So what happened? There was a period where, you know, for a good 5 years, for a good couple of years, as we have IGN kind of like putting on the efforts when introducing the whole thing with the celebrities and then having esports on the side, pop culture, artist alley, and bring together this pop culture event. And we build up the momentum and going. The Bahrain Gaming Experience came on to be a full-fledged esport event. Then after that, Bahrain Comic-Con came in as well, introducing new ways and new thoughts and new ideas, creative ideas at the whole pop culture scene. Now, let's ask a question right here. Do you think that now, from pop culture as putting together a generic scene, are we heading more into an esports scene, or do you think still pop culture can hold on to, you know, to the market and to the needs of the market? حرقي.
ليش كلام حرقي مسكين؟ أنا I think شوف
Just love to محرقي. It's always Darigi محرقي.
Yes, that's and Zoom right now. He's closer to me. My eye goes to him first. Then I'm gonna go to Iyad.
Well, it's not like, I mean, you're doing a great job, Marek. I don't know why. It's fine. You're happy to listen to you.
I think all يعني suddenly يعني once إن it will open, الناس يعني تبي events بتركض حق الايفنتس. once إن الماركت بيفتح الناس يعني خلينا نقول الناس عطشانة تبي تطلع تغير جو تمللت. فأنت لو تسوي لهم اي سبورت من اليوم لباكر، بس once إنه في كوميك كون أو اي جي ان أو اي ايفنت جيمنج موجود دايركتلي بيروحون الايفنت بيحضرونه يعني.
اوكي
I guess ان الناس اوكي هاي كلت انه يعني ننطر لما يفتح. شوف عقب 3 years لا، اذا الكورونا تم 3 years بيتغير الوضع خلاص. الناس بتصير في كومفورت زون ما تبي تطلع منه. بس اليوم للحين الناس داخليا انا ابي اطلع اروح كوفي شوب، ابي اطلع اروح مطعم، ابي اطلع اروح وات ايفر. في نفس الوقت الجيمنج سيكتور يبي يطلع يروح الايفنت مال جيمنج، ما يبي يقعد في البيت يلعب. اوكي بيلعب اليوم بس ترى هو مو مستانس يعني، مو مرتاح يعني. والدليل ان الناس كانت بتموت وتسوي شوبينج باي طريقه، فكانت تشتري اونلاين بس عشان تشتري من البيعه مالت الشوبينج يعني تعرف. فنفس الشيء انت تحكي عن ايفنت يعني باكر لان يبون لهم كوميك كون فيجرز وافكار واشياء حلوه الناس بتروح اكيد تطالع، ما بقول لك قاعد في البيت وانا اسوي لي تورنمنت. الجيمرز عشان نكون واقعيين يعني، الجيمرز يمكن ترى 40% من الاتنديز مال الايفنتس الجيم. اي ترى اذا مو 30 بعد ال 60% وال 70 ترى هاي الناس العاديه اللي جايه تشوف وتطالع ايفنت وتاكل بوب كورن وتغازل وتسوي وات ايفر اللي تبي يعني.
Exactly.
هاي
And also depends, like Maharagi, it's not only that, the pop culture, and also depending on the celebrities. When you bring celebrities,
بالضبط.
the celebrity will pull the crowd. يعني example, يعني Bara, you know very well Maharagi, which Comic Con got canceled 2020. Bara, you wanted to know one of our lineups, صح? You know we announced Just Soul. You know we announced you know we announced Casa de Papel.
Yeah.
Do you know who was headlining the event?
Who?
Tom Holland.
Get out of here.
Wallah.
No, لا تقول والله.
Wallah. I'll show you the
تحلف.
contract.
مو تحلف, man.
It
Tom
was
Holland?
Yep.
Spider-Man.
Okay. Good times. Good times. Good times.
But like Muhammad
Yes.
said, as soon as the things open up, when you make this event, they will come flying. Yani, like you, Bara, like Muhammad. See, Muhammad might not be as much as this because he's more business-oriented, family-oriented, okay? But his kids would want to go out. And when the kids want to go out, he will take his kids. He's not going to say no. Especially after this pandemic that they spent 1 year. Muhammad, like me, you, Muhammad, all of us, we're not used to locking ourselves up in the house. نقعد في البيت from morning till the night.
Right.
So the kids for Muhammad will be someone that will pull him out. Bara, your love for hosting and going out and being loud will go out. Me, I love going out. So like Muhammad said, I want to go to a coffee shop. So when you tell me that once the pandemic is gone, you're going to see everyone on the road.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So
we saw them
pretty interesting.
يعني شفناهم فلتين في الواقع على وادم.
Right.
Muhammad,
So
you know
it's pretty interesting to hear that.
Point, by the way, because if you've seen in New Year's, yet the Qawaneen was so hard, nobody cared. Everybody went out. How many violations came? How many mata'am shut down? How many?
It's crazy. Like, cause and Iyad is hearing all of this right now. It's like, what is going on? It's like, I mean, it's very refreshing to hear. The thing is that you guys still have the insight and the optimistic view. It's like, even though esport events were taking over, and a lot of them has been organized by you as well, by Salman and by Mharragi, and but it's still like your sites that it will, like, pop culture events will still be a main essential part of our culture. So I would like to take it right now to Iyad. So Iyad, right now you're more into the game development scene, and there were several game jams taking place. We had the DGC happening in Dubai, and now you have the gaming conference, Arab Gaming Conference, that you initiated as a co-founder. Now, from your, let's say, predictions and your experience in game development, as not an industry, but as more an event scene, what do you see it? Do you see that, game development scene, like when it comes to game jams, will it be a hybrid between online and live stage, or you see there's going to be more of one of either live or online? Can you elaborate more about that, Iyad?
I mean, game jams kind of like, especially like stuff like Global Game Jam or game development has always been kind of a hybrid. It's very common to see game developers either doing a game jam or just in their own studios live streaming their development process. And even like when we hosted an online game jam before games, we had like something called Quarantine Game Jam on Itch. We didn't plan for it, but for some reason everyone kept complaining like we want to live stream our game development process on Discord, because they want everyone else to see what they're doing all the time. So, I mean, that's one of the fascinating things that even Salman and Muhammad have mentioned, is that even during a pandemic, you see that people always want to connect with other people no matter what, whether they're home or they're outside. And I think انقطعت الانترنت because ما في شيء عم يتحرك.
احنا نسمعك ترى.
Yeah, نسمعك.
Hearing you loud and clear.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're clear, man. You're clear.
All right, sorry, I'm just so used to the electricity cutting out here, so I always assume the worst.
Allah يعطيك العافية. Allah يعطيك العافية.
I'm really sorry, by the way, if I'm dampening the mood sometimes. I forget that people
You're
are
good,
not
man.
used
You're
to these
good.
kind of dark jokes. Like, in
No, you're
Lebanon,
good,
we've gotten so used to these jokes. We're like, it's fine. It's not dark. It's okay. I can make these kinds of jokes. We're so used to it. We don't even notice how dark it can be sometimes. We honestly don't notice. I'm sorry. But anyway,
خذ راحتك حبيبي.
I think
خذ راحتك صدق. يعطيكم العافية.
I will be your light, Bara will be your electricity, and Maharagi will be the air conditioning rail of
With his cap. يهف عليك بالكبوس هذي.
really appreciate it. Anyway, so I was saying, I mean, game jams were already kind of a hybrid event. They were both digital and physical. But I feel like more than ever after the pandemic, people are gonna like run towards the physical aspect a lot more. Actually,
Okay.
I don't think because of the pandemic we're gonna see a lot more digital alternatives. But at the same time, we're gonna see people kind of going back to more analog roots, if you will. Like I feel like people are gonna play more board games. They're gonna play more card games. They're gonna be like, you know what? I've tried online games. I want to go to the physical thing. I want to meet people face to face this time, because people are probably gonna appreciate it more. They're gonna be like, "Holy shit! What have I been missing out on?"
Right.
Like most people who stay at home, I can go out whenever I want. What's interesting outside? I'll just stay home, watch Evu or watch streamers or whatever. But now, like, you notice how important it is and how much we took it for granted to be able to genuinely go out, have a game jam team, discuss the game with the people on your team, and like have on the fly feedback, having people play your game, even video games. Like, I know from like a play testing perspective, I made a Twine game a couple of months ago, and even though it's just a fucking Twine game, it's a browser-based text game, and even then I was like, man, I wish I could see people play it live so I can actually take notes, feedback, and figure out what I should change and what I shouldn't. Having people play it live streamed and then reacting to it and taking notes just was completely different.
Of course.
Little stuff like that you miss so much.
Right. Oh wow, man. Oh wow. You touched me there. You know, you definitely like this a lot.
I do agree with you, because I get to see Bara every morning flicking that button. I want to end up getting this flicker, because I just want to see what's up with this flicking thing that he's flicking.
Wait.
See. Look at it.
You know, so yeah, you get to flick
the
this
power of the finger.
But yeah, out with that. All right, so you know, gentlemen, let's say if we're gonna go to the title of this panel discussion, you know, and I think even Muhammad and Salman, you can even more elaborate more into this. You guys did all kind of events: governmental events, public events, private events, card launches, press releases, and then all of a sudden you saw potential in doing pop culture gaming events. Now, from your perspective, whether it's business, professional, personal, now, what did the gaming events added to our community or to our scene? Mohammed Mharagi.
Will add يعني ولا to add before?
Or what did it add before, and where do you see it now?
I think شوف صراحة يعني أنا وايد أستانس لأن أشوف إن السوق قاعد يتنوعون في الايفنتس. يعني يمكن بدأ السوق ب very small events اللي كان في عذار يصير قبل السوق على بعد كانت في بي اي سي يسوونه مال شو اسمه الايفنت؟ انيمينيا. اوكي. وعقب بدينا احنا كترتيب نسوي اي عقب كوميكون جماعه دلب تلفزيون كوميكون. فانا واليوم نشوف للحين الثلاث الايفنتس قاعد تستمر مع بعض. واتوقع ان شاء الله اتمنى تستمر بعد وتزيد. ليش؟ لان هاي معناته ان في تقبل في السوق. انا اتذكر في 2013 يوم رحت حق سبونسر شيب حق اي جي ان اول سنه، كل السبونسرز كانوا يطنزون علي يقولون لي يعني تبي ندفع حق بلاي ستيشن، ندفع حق جيمنج، يعني هاي سيريس يعني. هاي كان هلو الكلام. ويقولون لي توقع احد ايفنت ناس تلعب بلاي ستيشن؟ ليش باي ايفنت باقي في البيت بلعب؟ هاي والله هاي السبونسرز كانوا يقولون هالكلام. فيوم قعدت ويا الناس من الجفرمنت نفس الكلام قالوا لي احنا ما نسوي سبورت حق هاي الاشياء، هاي الاشياء اللي الناس تروح تسوي سبورت، احنا ما ندعم. فكنت اقول لهم ان ايش كثر هاي الشيء يفيد السياحه، يفيد الدوله، يفيد الناس، يفيد بلا بلا. ما في قناعه هالشيء. بس مع الوقت خلاص الكل قاعد يستوعب. ومتى تشوف، لان تشوف شركات عوده دشت ذي الاندستري، تشوف داليات دشت سوت لها ايفنت، تشوف مثلا السنه الجايه يمكن شركه ثانيه تسوي لها ايفنت. فخلاص احنا نعرف ان السوق كله صار فيه ثقافه، في وعي. المشكله مالتنا احنا في السكتر مالنا، انا تحليلي يعني احنا في منطقه جغرافيه صغيره بحرين. لا دوله يعني ما قصرت معنا في ولا شيء، بس اقصد كشعب قليل، اعتمادنا وايد على جسر ينفتح انه يصير عندنا الريفنيو من الناس اللي بتجي زياده.
100%.
اذا انا اتحكى عن ايفنت بيستوي، خلينا نحط في بالنا ان احنا اي ايفنت بيصير عود، كثر ما تكبره كثر ما تحتاج له اتندنس زياده، ريفنيو زياده وغيرها. شلون بنحصل ذي في وسط هاي الظروف؟ هاي الصعب. شلون احنا بنقدر نقنع اصلا اللي في السعوديه اللي اليوم عندهم ايفنتس احسن من ايفنتاتنا ب 100 مره؟ شلون بقنع يحضر ايفنت عندي في البحرين؟ شنو عوامل الجذب اللي بتصير عندي؟ يمكن في البحرين، انا هاي قلتها شهر 5 يوم انا كنت في تركيا، وهذا اقولها مره ثانيه. احنا البحرين اليوم نحتاج دمج، مو منافسه. الدمج هو الحل. دمج شركات، دمج ايفنتات، دمج مشاريع، دمج بنوك، دمج وات ايفر كان. ليش؟ لان انا اليوم احنا قاعدين كلنا سوري يعني، بس هاي انا اللي مسجل، بس كلنا 7 قرعان في منطقه صغيره وقاعدين نتراجع، ما يصير. كلنا عندنا 500 عليها
true.
اذا اليوم احنا نبي نروح قدام وتسوي وين سيتويشن حق الكل، لازم في كولابوريشن واضح، لازم في دمج ايفنتات. انا ما عندي مشكله نشتغل يعني مع دلرز ومع شركات، ندمج ايفنتاتنا، ندمج شركاتنا، وات بس ليش؟ لان اليوم المنافسه عوده في منطقه صغيره. انا العام سويت ستاك ترافيك كوميدي شو، ناس من السعوديه ومن الكويت، وشفت السيلز التيكتس مالي في السعوديه قليل اونلاين، بس شفتها ما في ناس وايد قاعد تشتري بالسعوديه. فكلمت وايد ناس اعرفهم هناك، قلت لهم ايش صاير يعني، ليش ما تجون؟ ردوا علي جواب واحد، قال لي يا رجل هذا مال اول كوميدي شو، وين احنا عندنا فعاليات الرياض. فاذا انت اليوم سينما واقفه على تيكتس تنباع على جمهور معين، ايفنتس تنباع على ناس معينه، اذا تبي فيوتشر واضح وزين، المنافسه مو هيلثي حق الفيوتشر. المنافسه مو واقعيه، مو بنا منافسه يعني، مو المنافسه او الاقصاء، لا، يصير في شيء حل وسط، دمج ايفنتس، كولابوريشن، وات ايفر، او احد هو بروحه
supporting one another.
اي بس ان احنا اليوم نفكر ان احنا بس، لان تشوف بعطيك بعد يعني شديد، احنا غادي في تسجيل هي خربه. شوف وانس تشوف الهوامير الكبار اللي عندهم مليونز يفتح له محل كرك، اعرف انه في مشكله في السوق. هاي اللي صار اليوم في البحرين، لان تشوف المليونيريه الكبار يدشون في اي مجال في السوق، عارف انه في مشكله في السوق. فاليوم انا هاي المشكله بتجيها بتاثر علي انا بعد. فاليوم عشان تو افويد ما تاثر علينا احنا كقطاع ايفنت، لا وي نيد تو هاف يعني سولوشن ثاني على اساس نحل المشكله، او انه لا ما بنقدر. ترى يعني اذا ياك واحد عنده 500 600 مليون وقطعها في ايفنتس مثل هاي الايفنتس، بينعشها كامله وبيشتروا بيكسرنا كلنا، والكبار ما يتعاونون. خلينا نكون واقعيين، العود
This is
بالعكس
true.
احنا نكسر عشان هو ياخذ واحده في السوق. ف هاي مستعمل.
It's like what you said, Mohammed. It's like Apple's policy. You can't win them, buy them.
ايه
Sorry.
او يمكن
So I
فيسبوك
do agree.
فيسبوك بوليسي هذه.
No, also Apple is the one,
Yeah.
Steve Jobs, who actually started this.
اوكي.
All right.
بس
All right.
But for me, Mohammed, to be very honest, since everything is live in this, for me, بالعكس, I said this to Bara maybe in 2018. Bara, you remember when I first started Comic Con, even 19, even 20. And then you asked me this question privately. Maharagi, now you are here, so you can hear it live. And everyone who is watching can hear it live. Bara, you asked me, what do you think, how can we improve Bahrain? Correct? What did I tell you? I tell you, it will be time we all work as one team and support one another. And then you asked me this question, Bara, if you remember. You asked me, are you willing to work with Tertib Maharagi? What was my reply to you?
Open it up, man. Say it.
اكيد
Say it, please.
You're up for it, man.
I said, Maharagi, I said to Bara, it will be an honor to work with Maharagi and getting Tertib and Della to work in one pop culture event. They are strong in sector. We are strong in a sector. We will complete one another and have an event to compete. Like you said.
With all that been said right now, I can see that if I would answer the question, is that the value that been added by gaming events, not only to Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, but we're talking about the economical change in the whole equation. Now the gamers, I would say, the pop culture has a bigger brand, a stronger brand. Now I want to add to this is the game development. As right now, always we thought the game devs were like, sitting in studios, sitting in offices, but we saw that right now, slowly but surely, game developers are taking even bigger sections and let's say bigger areas in Comic Cons and events like that. So I want to see like, even behind Comic Con. So I would like to see what Iyad has to say about this. Now, as even though, let's say, away from game jams, away from all of that, how is the perception of game developers, at least, let's say, in Lebanon at this point, when it comes to events?
It's mostly still kind of the old like 90s nerd culture stereotype of like just a bunch of geeks in their rooms drinking Monster Energy and whatever.
Right.
But and for the most part in Lebanon at least, although in the last 2-3 years we've been like really pushing to change that perception, and it's been slowly kind of changing. The momentum has shifted. Like I was gonna say last year, but last year was 2020. But like in 2019, myself and some others were actually invited to a bunch of local universities to talk about game development, which was a huge step, because for years they would barely even admit it was a career path. And if anyone in college would even suggest it, they'd be like, well, maybe if you're in the US. And we're like, no, don't tell people that to leave. Like,
wow.
Encourage them to stay and learn. Come on, that's ridiculous. It's like their university and the lesson they're giving people in Lebanon is just like, if you want to do this, just leave.
Leave.
Right? So
wow.
Yeah, just go somewhere else. Like, it was ridiculous, but thankfully in the past couple of years, it's kind of shifted, it's changed. And even though our kind of geek events are definitely a lot smaller than what's going on in Bahrain and Saudi, like, I think the biggest celebrity we got was, I think, Walid Mshantaf, who's like a local basketball player. That was like our biggest celebrity at a gaming event.
Okay.
We couldn't quite get Tom Holland's contact number for some reason. But even that, it's been growing, and especially since the local game development scene has been growing and the e-gaming scene has been growing. Like, it started off mostly just a bunch of people talking about comic books and movies, and in just a year and a half, it shifted to like half of the event is a bunch of game developers showcasing local games, people playing games, Tekken tournaments, Counter-Strike tournaments, Dota, League of Legends tournaments. And this was, it felt like overnight to me, at least. I was trying to do this for so many years, and all of a sudden, like a year and a half, we went from like barely seen to taking over half of the geek events in Lebanon.
Wow.
And to add to what Salman and Muharriki mentioned about collaboration, as developers, especially in the region here, it's incredibly crucial to collaborate a lot, especially with other people in the region, because like they mentioned competition from Saudi Arabia and other big countries in the region. But when you're talking about video game development, especially, and you're working in the digital gaming market, you're not just competing with your local competitors, you're competing worldwide. So you're competing with the US market, you're competing with the European market, you're competing with Japan, and all the developers in those markets as well that have been working and making games for decades and decades, and they have all the knowledge, all the talent, and all the money in the world. So if we don't collaborate and help each other out, I don't see any way where we can even come close to their level without collaborating and helping each other out. So it's crucial that we keep events going online and physical to kind of make sure that spirit of collaboration keeps going.
Okay. Well, no, man, nicely said. Now, hearing all your insights, hearing all your opinions, and hearing all of that been taking place, and it definitely reflected what I've been through as well myself when it comes even to the media side of gaming and pop culture. Now, I guess my let's say, even I would like to hear this answer myself as well. Hargi, you said if we will carry on for another 2 years, we finished 1 year now. If Corona's restrictions will take another 2 years, people will be too lazy or going to be in a comfort zone to a point they will not even want to leave the place anymore. Khalas. It's like they're happy with what they got. They got their Netflix, they got their YouTube, they got everything, they got the popcorn and all that. So if that happens, how can we adapt with that? Did we go that far with our thoughts, or are we still waiting for things to open up? Are we thinking of plan Bs when it comes to gaming events, virtual or not? What do you think, Haragi? Starting with you again. Yes, of course I'll start with you.
شوف الجيمنج سيزونال الايفنتس اما يعني انا اليوم لاعب بلاي ستيشن يا ولدي باكر بلعب بلاي ستيشن يا ولدي فالاي سبورتس as a virtual events او tournaments you can do it every weekend يعني عرفت بس still as سلمان قال وارد اقول لك يعني ما يغطي تكاليف شركه قائمه فيها موظفين فيها اجارات فيها شغل فيها غيره الفيرتشوال it will not be solution لنا احنا زين يمكن حق احد ثاني زين ما اعرف بس يعني كفيرتشوال بيكون ابغى بنج لما الوضع يتعدل. انا شفت فيديو ما ادري شفتوه او لا اللي واحد في الكويت في الحجر ايام حضرت تجول كان عندهم كان مسوي الميلس ماله خلاص انا اتوقع ذي مستحيل يطلع من البيت. الميلس ماله هو الدنيا كلها حطها في ميلس كامل كل شيء تلفزيونات عوده العاب على صوب بيفوت ما شنو اكل ثلاجات مال هاي مال الحرب العالميه مسوي
اخر الايام خلاص
اي فكم مسوي شيء هذا الشيء شوف هاي الناس بتقول يعني انت اليوم قاعد تقول لي يعني مثلا انا اعرف واحد سوى ستيشن كامل عنده في البيت حق جيمنج اختي سوت حق ولدها كذي في البيت شرت له بي سي عود واغراض وما شنو خلاص هو عنده هيز اون يعني جيمنج ارينا او ما شو في البيت فهاي الكومفورت زون مالتهم بتكون مو الكومفورت زون مالته بيصير نتفليكس او غيره اللي هو بيحبه او يمكن تغير اهتماماته خلاص يمكن ما يهتم في ذي السيكتور يمكن يهتم في شيء ثاني او الجيل الجديد بيحب شيء غير بس انا مؤمن بالادابتيشن احنا نتاقلم ترى قبل لا يستوي انيمينيا ما حد سوى ايفنت جيمنج في البحرين وكان في شيء اسمه جيمنج في العالم يعني ففي ادابتيشن عادي بنتاقلم بنسوي لهم شيء جديد معنا بنبيع عليهم
That's Haragi for you, man. Salman, right now I see what you've been doing. You know, Salman, as we've been had like 2020, we just had so many sit downs. You know, I came to you with a broken face. It's like, oh my God, no more events. And then you started off, you know, with your YouTube channel, and KHK Esports has been doing, you know, phenomenal with with all the virtual tournaments, and all that kind of stuff. But it seems like even what Maharagi said, even you have kind of like the same kind of mentality. Like, we're doing this, we want to take over. Or not take over. I'm sorry. Let's say we want to like start off with whole virtual events and esports, but still part of you was holding to the fact that we will still have to go to physical events. But as Maharagi has indicated, if we're still gonna have Corona's restrictions for the next 2 years, or khalas, should we at least part of us work hard on that possibility and hold on to virtual creating contents, YouTube, and doing esport events or whatever? Or we're gonna have to balance between both, whether it's live and virtual. What do you think?
We will have to balance it out, because you never know what happens. What if we all went 100% digital and some new virus came and there is no more internet in the world? Correct?
Yeah, let's keep a good optimistic smile now, shall we? Yeah, true.
When that happens, I think me and Maharagi will be best friends, making events on daily basis.
صح. الله عمل بيوتهم كل عندنا البيوت نسوي.
Yes, it's like you don't go to events will come to you. Here is our mobile track event organizer.
So
comes with a stage and speakers.
But inshallah, it will not last long. And inshallah, once this is done, inshallah, me and Maharagi, Bara, Iyad will be more than welcome to join. But we'll have a sit down and see how to work as a team and work as. And I'm very happy that I heard it from Maharagi's mouth. Okay, because I heard like mushkila, the problem that we live in a world. Oh, people said this. Oh, people said that. I'm sure Maharagi heard a million things Dalla said about Tertib and Tertib said about Dalla, But it's after meeting each other where you will actually get to know and understand.
Wow.
And I'm more than glad to work in one hand with Maharagi and Dalla and Tertib, not to make the biggest pop culture only in Bahrain, but I'm ready. If Maharagi is ready, we will compete on the MENA level.
أكيد we're ready والله بالعكس. نقعد عقبهم meeting.
Yeah, I want to hear your thought on this.
And yeah, don't worry, you will be the game developer there.
Oh man, let's go.
يا يبي يطلع واضح عليه تعبان من بدون كهرباء متملل.
Yeah, you guys don't know this, I think I can. I do stand-up comedy on the net.
Oh,
it doesn't seem
awesome!
Like it, I used to do stand-up comedy.
Same here, man. Same here. Even Salman used to do stand-up at his own house.
So we had so many
قطع أنا ما
I had all these plans for like to do a sketch show, to do.
يقطع.
Sorry, مقطع عندك؟
الحين صار أحسن.
Okay. I had so many plans, like to do so many things, from like an hour-long stand-up show, like my first basically special, a sketch show, fucking man ما في اقول لك قد ايه في قصص انتاج الوضع basically من ورا الكوفيد مش طبيعي man.
It's unbelievable.
But I'm very happy that كمان
إن شاء الله.
honestly it makes me so happy to hear people want to collaborate more. Like I've been doing this stuff for like 3.5 years, almost لحالي مع أنا وجوزيف ما أعرف إذا تعرفوا جوزيف عزام كمان from
Epic Games, yeah.
تقريبا لحالنا
Good guy, good guy.
for 3.5 years doing gaming events, doing game development, game meetups, game jams, trying to push more people into game development, trying to change the momentum, trying to change the perception, trying to get courses into universities, doing all of that stuff and completely on our own. بس أقول لك zero budget حتى كمان قصدي literally zero budget. When we need something, usually we either have to learn it ourselves or we have to ask friends and beg them to do something. Like a couple of months ago, we had to do like a Lebanese game developers community video, and I had to learn editing on Adobe Premiere Pro from scratch because no one would free. I'm like, okay, I have to learn. Like so many times, نوصل مرحلة, well, no one's gonna do this for us. I guess we have to learn. So from
Right.
doing these events,
Right.
I've had to learn how to host. I've had to learn how to make cocktails, like actual like cocktails from scratch.
Wow.
Bartending. I've had to learn how to do cooking for events. I've had to kind of help chauffeur people. I can't. I honestly can't begin to mention the crazy amount of jobs I've had to do just to be able to make sure that our events keep going. So again, it makes me happy to hear that more people want to collaborate and do stuff, especially in the region, because there's no way we can do that stuff on our own.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Guys, I know we still have a lot to say, but I guess we're going to wrap it up right now. I guess it was like more like a discussion, more like a talk. Tell me. Come again?
بنسمع سالفة سلمان.
لا كنت بقول لك الحين انا ما بقول لك السالفه اياد you want to hear this Iyad, believe me you want to hear this, okay? so now after this COVID-19 لا حول ولا قوه الا بالله الفيروس اللي سووه all the events died, so I have to focus on TV shows, so I've been started to present TV shows. So thankfully alhamdulillah Bahrain ايش اخبارها من بنتك ليلى تعال ما شاء الله الله يخليه يا رب يحفظه يا رب future YouTuber, I don't know, maybe. So what happened is that Salman has this crazy stunts, last year's Bahrain, not last year, in 2018 Bahrain Comic Con, we had Blue coming to Bahrain as a pre-event, with the Formula One scene and all. We do a lot of it, so he brought Blue, and then we have Bahrain Comic Con. It's like, oh man, we're gonna break the internet. And then he said we're gonna do the same thing, but this time we're gonna bring Gypsy Kings. Let's do Gypsy Kings for 2020 because this is super awesome. So me and him, we were at Sofitel Hotel. I'm sorry, Al-Arin. Hi, Arin. We go over there. Salman, take it from here. So we're at Arin. Gypsy Kings are there. He's with the guitar. I'm with my mic and the cameraman. Salman, go ahead.
ياكم البحرين هو.
Please, Salman, قول السالفة.
Bro, they gave me the approval. عطوني. 2 days before, they charged me for their visas. They charged me for everything. I'm like, guys, can I do the event? He's like, yeah, you have the approval. Go ahead. I'm like, guys, are you sure? Everything. They enter Bahrain. They parked, they stopped, and they're done. And what happened? Okay. What happened is on the day of the performance, setup is done, Maharraqi. The stage is done. Everything is done. The morning of the event, they called and said, by the way, Ja Amr, you are not allowed to do the event.
بس كذي.
لا كورونا. في reason لا. reason كورونا يعني. مو بالناس.
Yeah, the reason is Corona. Okay, but why 2 days before it, you made me pay all the government fees and you made me pay everything?
We're not done with that. We're not done. So we are there. So you got the Gypsy Kings. I'm there. I'm interviewing them. Okay. And the thing is, we got a call. They got a call that they're gonna close. They're gonna lock down all the European airports. They have to fly. They have to fly the same day they came in. So literally, man, they came to Bahrain. They had breakfast, lunch, dinner. Bara comes in with a mic, interviews them. They have dinner. And straight to the airport.
Before the lockdown.
لحظة دفعك هو دفعك له؟
Hey, of course, full money.
هاي الايفنت الريسك مالها.
Yep.
And that because what he wanted to do.
عوضك بايفنت جاي سوي له كودت عليك كودت.
Gypsy King is like, hey, senor. He got some credit.
Video clip, private event.
The only thing we got out of this is an interview with Bahrain TV, by the way. So they came all the way to Bahrain. And so they came all the way to Bahrain. They signed some guitars. One of them was a guitar hero guitar, gaming related. And then They sit down, they had dinner, boom, they leave, go back. So see, ERC, ladies and gentlemen, that's how far they wanted to add value to the gaming and pop culture events of Bahrain. But Corona, hasbunallah ala Corona. That's what happened. So guys, before we end this, any last words? Haragi, we always gonna start with you.
انا والله اشكر الجماعه في جماعه يعني يوسف صراحه ما قصروا يعني انا يعني كنت مقصر وياهم وايد الفتره اللي طافت بس انا ديسمبر كان وايد بزي مانث عندنا ما قدرت اسوي شيء بس بالعكس يعني اتمنى ان we can do something bigger next year واظن الشيء قاعد يكبر فان شاء الله يعني نقدر نسوي شيء اكبر يعني ومشكورين والله يعينك اياد على يعني استفائل وان شاء الله تقدر يعني تسوي سواء ايفنتس او ستاند اب كوميدي جديد او اذا هاي حياك البحرين نسوي لك شيء بعد بالعكس شرف لك يعني سلمان يبي لنا قاعده تجيب روحنا برايفت هالون بس انا كم يوم صار لي مو صاحي خله اصحى طبيعي ونقعد نكست ويك اذا تبي او حتى لو بالتليفون نرتب وليش لا خلينا نرتب حق السنه الجديده يعني احس دوم توها السنه بادي نقدر نسوي يعني مع انه يعني ايش نسوي بس واي نوت يعني
Why not?
It's gonna be beautiful.
دائما يعني ملعلع
يعني definitely it's like actually you know what in the high slot we're making history if we see Tertib and Della doing a joint event and trying to get to Damj.
Maharagi, if we do an event together, all the people who spoke shit about me or you will say, what the hell happened? Did Corona together?
I'll make it easy for you, Salman. Let's make it happen.
I will make it happen. I don't mind.
Salman, any last words?
Well, it's amazing thing for Unreal Bahrain and the Game Jam for doing this. Iyad, big love and support from Bahrain towards what you guys are doing. Maharagi, big respect and salute to what you guys have been doing throughout the years. And inshallah, 2021, like you said, next week we'll sit down, me and you, we can discuss other alternatives, other things, and we push things forward. And as you, Bara, the host of all hosts to all our events.
Habibi. Iyad, any last words, man, if you don't mind?
Just thank you everyone for the love and support, Salman, Bara, Muhammad, and obviously massive thank you to Unreal Bahrain and Yusuf for having me and having this panel and having that wonderful game jam. I hope anyone watching enjoyed the panel and enjoyed the game jam. And finally, I just want to say, please keep making events, keep making games, because it's. I know it's tough, maybe sometimes. Yeah, but I swear, I know, especially for game development, lots of people, especially if they participate in the game jam, they feel like, holy shit, this is a tough business, especially if you're new to this. But trust me, the end results are worth it. Just keep persevering.
Bless you, man. Bless you, brother. And bless you all. And all right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our panel discussion taking place right here about events and gaming here at the Bahrain Game Jam. Stay tuned for more coming up. Right. Peace out. See you guys. Bye.